She gave everything, and the sky finally answered. In a land torn by drought, hope had vanished, until one young girl stepped forward. Known only as the Rainmaker's daughter, Amira carried her father's sacred legacy, but no one believed in her. When the tribe's survival hung by a thread, she made a choice: to give up her comfort, her strength, and even her place among her people in a desperate act of selflessness. What happened next would change her tribe forever. This is a timeless tale of sacrifice, dignity, and the power of a pure heart. Rainmaker's daughter. Inspirational story, emotional story, sacrifice story, pure heart story, selflessness, moral story, cinematic storytelling, life lessons, motivational short story, powerful story, inspirational tale, courage and sacrifice, emotional storytelling, timeless stories, humanity, compassion, respect, story of hope, dignity and sacrifice, cinematic narration. The earth had cracked open like broken pottery, each line stretching deeper as though the land itself was crying out for mercy. Crops withered, animals staggered under the merciless heat, and the tribe's children pressed cracked lips against empty gourds, hoping for water that no longer came. Another day without rain, and we will lose the young ones, a weary elder whispered, his voice brittle like dry grass. His words cut through the silence, sharp as an accusation, leaving the air heavier than the sun above them. In that moment, all eyes turned, not to the sky nor to the failing river, but to a young girl who stood barefoot on the burning earth. Her name was Amira, the Rainmaker's daughter, and though she was only a child, hope clung to her like the last green leaf on a dying branch. Amira carried within her veins a legacy both sacred and crushing. Her father, known only as the Rainmaker, had once commanded the heavens. With chants older than memory and faith stronger than stone, he had brought storms when famine threatened, and rivers when thirst consumed them. The people had bowed in awe, whispering that he walked between worlds. But the Rainmaker was gone now, taken by fever when Amira was still small enough to cling to his robes. The day he was buried beneath the red earth, silence fell over the tribe. For who among them could replace a man who called clouds from nothing? Only one person remained tethered to his gift, Amira. She had inherited his chants, his stories, his sacred bowl carved from black stone. Yet she had never called the rain. Not once. The drought worsened. Each morning the people gathered at the empty riverbed, their faces gaunt, their voices trembling. "Rainmaker's daughter," one elder said, his tone heavy with both reverence and doubt. "If your father's gift lives in you, now is the time." Amira's heart pounded. She wanted to say she was not ready, that she was still only a girl, but the cries of thirsty children stilled her tongue. She lifted the stone bowl high, just as her father once had, and whispered the chants she had memorized. The words tasted like ash in her dry mouth. The people waited. The earth cracked. The sky remained an unbroken blue. Shame burned in her chest. She turned away, clutching the bowl close as though hiding her failure from the world. As the days passed, whispers grew sharper. "She carries his name but not his gift. She plays at being chosen while we suffer." Amira said nothing. She kept silent even when the cruelest words pierced her heart. Because her father had taught her that dignity was not in answering accusations, but in bearing them. Still, her silence became her prison. Children turned their faces away when she passed. Mothers pulled their little ones closer, as though fear itself walked in Amira's shadow. She wandered through the camp like a ghost, invisible and yet always watched. But there was one who never turned away. Her grandmother, old and bent but unbroken, who told her quietly at night, "Child, storms do not answer pride. They answer sacrifice." Amira remembered her father not as the mighty Rainmaker the tribe revered, but as a man with gentle hands. He would gather her into his lap, his skin smelling of earth after rain, his voice carrying stories of spirits who danced in thunder. He had told her once as they sat watching storm clouds roll across the horizon, "The rain is not commanded, Amira. It is invited. The sky bends only to a heart willing to rake for others." Those words now returned to her like an echo carried on dust. What did it mean, to have a heart willing to break? One night, as hunger gnawed at her belly and thirst seared her throat, Amira wandered beyond the camp. The moon hung above, pale and watchful. She carried the stone bowl with her, feeling its weight press against her palms. She reached the sacred hill where her father once stood. The ground was sharp beneath her feet, the wind dry against her skin. Kneeling, she set the bowl down and whispered to the sky, "I am not him. I am only his daughter. But if the rain will not come for my words, then take my comfort instead. Take my rest, my ease, my place among them. Let me be the vessel, if only they may drink." Her voice trembled, but she did not stop. She lay the bowl before her and pressed her forehead to the earth, vowing not to rise until the clouds answered. Days blurred. She did not eat. She did not drink. She did not leave the hill. The sun burned her skin. The nights chilled her bones. Yet she remained. Villagers came at first to plead with her. "Child, you will die. Come down." But she stayed silent, her lips cracked, her body frail, her eyes fixed on the horizon. Her grandmother stood at the edge of the hill each dawn, whispering, "Storms answer sacrifice, little one." And though fear filled her heart, pride filled her eyes. Amira's body weakened, but her spirit sharpened like a blade. Each breath was a prayer, each heartbeat an offering. And then, one evening, as she lay near fainting, she felt it. The shift of the air. A cool wind brushed her face. She opened her eyes to see the horizon darken. A distant rumble rolled across the land. One by one, people turned their faces upward, hardly daring to hope. Clouds gathered, thick and heavy, swallowing the cruel sun. Lightning split the sky and then rain. It came first as a whisper, then as a roar. Water poured from the heavens, soaking the cracked ground, filling the stone bowl still resting at Amira's side. Children laughed. Men shouted. Women fell to their knees, tears mixing with rainwater on their faces. On the hill, Amira lifted her hands weakly, rain streaming over her. She had no strength to speak, but her silence was louder than thunder. Those who once doubted her now wept openly. Elders who had scorned her bowed low. The people rushed to drink, to gather, to live again. But their eyes never left the girl on the hill. It was not her chance that moved the heavens. It was her sacrifice, her selfless offering, her willingness to suffer so others might live. And in that silence, the people learned a truth deeper than drought. The pure in heart do not command rain, they invite it. The land flourished again. Crops sprouted, rivers swelled, and life returned to the tribe. But they never forgot the girl who had given her comfort, her ease, her very breath to bring rain to the people. Amira remained silent about her suffering, never boasting, never seeking glory, for she understood what her father had always known. True power lies not in being served, but in serving. Her story became legend, not because she commanded the sky, but because she showed what it means to give everything for others. And so, when the rains fall gently on parched earth, even to this day, the people whisper to one another, "Rain follows the pure in heart." And that, dear listener, is the story of the Rainmaker's daughter, a tale of sacrifice, silence, and unshakable love. What do you think? Could you give up your comfort for the sake of others? Comment where you're watching from and share your thoughts on Amira's journey. If this story moved you, subscribe for more stories that honor silent strength and unseen heroes. Because sometimes, the most powerful voices are the ones that never speak.